You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerberson, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerberson, joined with Reed Bacon. Voice is gone today. Me and Reed were at the game yesterday, so a little bit disappointed as we go over everything there. We're also going to dive a little bit into college football around the landscape this past week and look ahead to UAB. So before we do any of that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download. It helps us, really, honestly. And then follow us on all of our social medias. Everything is in the description below, so check us out there. But yeah, Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Well. Long time no see.
Just a few hours.
Long time no see. You snuck out again this morning real quiet like a thief in the night. I didn't hear you at all until that our back door, which you were exiting out of, opened, and I was like, all right, big fella's on his way back to Cashville and which is always sad, you know. I wish we should just talk our wives into letting us just buy a big old house and the four of us just all live together. I'm sure.
Just a halfway point between us. Every weekend going there.
Yeah. No, even with the loss, it was still it was a good weekend. It would have been great if we had won. But, man, I had a great time. We were blessed again with another beautiful game day, a beautiful Saturday, perfect weather. Just think about it. Last week against ETSU, and it's raining, it's crappy weather. It doesn't make for a great game day experience for everybody. But yesterday couldn't have been any better. And so that was number one. It was an awesome surprise that you popped out for Megan. And that's just the guy that you are. You've taken me down to the field multiple times. And then I had asked you last year, I said, hey, Uncle Lou and my dad would love that. And you're like, I would love to do that for them. Let's do it. And so we surprised them. And, 2 weeks ago, I'm out hitting some houses for bacon junk removal. And you call and we're doing our weekly talk. And you said, hey, you want to go down to the field for Georgia? And I was like, I'll go anytime you want me to, but I don't want to be feeling like taking advantage of it. And I said, but I think Megan would love it. And you're like, bet, deal, got it, no problem. And so we took her down there and surprised her. And it's a really, really unique thing. And I think for fans, it's UT fans, it's the cathedral for us. So it's awesome. But then for like females that maybe like don't really understand football, that gives them a whole nother perspective when you're down there and you're like, whoa, this is big. Yeah, exactly. So that was great. Other than that, to kind of like tie it in for me, Kyler, I was bummed that we lost. I was, but for some reason, it hurt and I'm bummed. But this one doesn't sting for me as bad as Arkansas last year. That one really, really, really bothered me. South Carolina a couple years ago, obviously when Hendon got hurt, that one really, really bothered me and really stuck with me. And I was just thinking about it like today as I was rewatching, taking notes, also watching the Titans play. And it just kind of like, I even feel going back to the memory banks of how frustrated I was when we lost in 2023 in Bama with Joe. And I don't know if it's because we started so hot in that first half and looked so good. And then I just felt like in the second half, we couldn't do anything. Bama was getting away with a lot of stuff. I just remember leaving that game like pissed, which I shouldn't have been. It was like, hey, we played really well. It's on the road in Tuscaloosa with Saban. Like, that's a tough place to win compared to being up 8 in Neyland against a team you haven't beaten in 8 years. But for me, it's like, I don't know, man. I think my perspective really changed that game yesterday when I tweet out, when I look at you, when I call my dad, and I said, man, I'm worried going into this second half because I think Kirby is doing what Kirby wants to do, and he is leaning on us. He is pounding the rock on us. And I said, I'm nervous that the defense is not going to be able to stop him. And if the offense is not playing perfectly, then this thing's over. And that wasn't the case. So I was very, very impressed and proud about that. That defense may have given up a lot of yards, but they bowed their necks up multiple times and gave us a chance to hold Georgia to field goal and got the strip sack and stuff like that. So I think for me it was like, damn, that one's tough. Like that was our chance to get them. But there's no more victories. There's no more victories. But you can't leave that game and not be like, dang, that Tennessee team is good and really good. And the season's way still out ahead of us, way ahead of us. So
for sure.
I'll be quiet from that point, and then I'll hear your initial overall thoughts and just weekend, game day, all that stuff.
I mean, I loved it. It was, so fun hanging out with you and Megan and everybody, and I very much enjoyed my time, even though we did lose. And I think what you're saying, it has to do first with expectations and where you're sitting at when you're going into the game. This was kind of up in the air for us. Didn't really know what kind of team we were yet, what kind of team Georgia was either. And those South Carolina loss, the Arkansas loss, those was like, hey, we should win this game, right? And then you go into it and you just see bad stuff happening, and it just frustrates you. The Alabama one you're talking about, you get up at halftime and then you kind of fall apart in the second half and you're not able to finish. Some of the other ones that we've had where we're just not able to finish. And this one is different because there was a time period, which we'll talk about, where we really did feel dead in the water, that there's no chance. This is happening again. We're finished. We're not going to be able to do it. And this team still fought back, still got exactly what they needed when they needed it, got in the perfect opportunities to win the game, and they didn't execute. But they still got there. And that wasn't always the case before.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, with those losses, like when Nico runs out of bounds, right? And we're doing the thing. It's like, well, it's the last play of the game. He has to get to the end zone. This is already a tough ask. We haven't done what we needed to be here. But this one, it was like the defense had a chance, the offense had a chance, and special teams had a chance to win the game for us. And each one of them didn't take advantage of the opportunity. And I can't, you got to execute at those times. I can't be upset with Heupel. I can't be upset with the coaching staff. What they were able to do. I mean, I think I can be a little bit upset when it comes to certain
decisions.
Yes. Also just watching guys and their techniques and what they're using out there, being like, come on, there's no way you're not being taught that. Or are they being taught that? Is that being allowed? Is someone not calling them on their shit? So those are the things that would upset me coaching wise. But man, I wholeheartedly believe, watching every other SEC game this year, that these are the best two teams in the SEC right now. I really believe that. And they just played each other. And that stinks. But Oklahoma is the only other team that I feel like is actually up there.
Yeah, but see, I don't believe that yet, though, because I haven't seen enough from Oklahoma. I don't think Michigan's that good. So I disagree with you there on Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's potential is there because we saw them flying around on defense, smacking people. You got an electric quarterback, but it's I got to pump the brakes. I got to let them see it because Michigan does not impress me. I don't think Michigan's a top 15 team, but we'll wait and see. The only other thing is that I'll say before we, I guess, go into CFB week 3 is two things. One, the people that did say hello yesterday. There was a gentleman that said something to us as we were waiting to get our passes to go downstairs to go on the field, which it was kind of chaos getting in and figuring stuff out. It was my fault because I made us go in a different gate than we were supposed to. And so we were trying to get confused. And he said, hey, guys, like, love the show. And I always want people to know how much I appreciate that. And if it ever comes across of like I wasn't like super friendly, because if I could, I would stop and talk to everybody and really thank them, shake their hands, because that's how much it means to me. But when my mind is focused on getting something else done, and then it's like they're saying something and you kind of, whatever. And we said, hey, thanks a lot. But like I want to go overboard in thanking people because that's how much it means to me. And then I was walking up at halftime and I got 1,000 emotions going on in my brain, like as if I'm coaching and I'm sitting thinking about it. But
he's down there on the field,
and I hear Reed Bacon, and so I never know. Like I still never know if it's like a buddy of mine that's just yelling at me, and then so I'll start looking for someone I recognize. But then it's like someone that's like, hey, and I wish I would have gotten this gentleman's name. I wish I could have been more like, hey, thank you so much. But he was like, hey, Reed Bacon. I looked over and he's like, hey, I'm a huge fan. Like, love, I think he said huge fan. And I think he said, love the pod. And I was like, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. But I almost felt like bad that I didn't like stop, talk longer, say, hey, thank you so much. And I didn't want to stop because I got people behind me and things like that. And my brain just was not clicked over yet. But I want that individual to know how much it means that they said that to me. And all those interactions make this worth it. And I appreciate that a lot. The other thing is that I wanted to talk about real quick. I put out a tweet and I cracked up at people literally saying F you. like as if like I just
they can't
laughed.
handle it that soon. They can't handle it.
No, I just laughed. Like I was like, okay, like people are frustrated. That's fine. I am not paid by someone. I am not asked to say something and put it in like, I don't have people that are like, hey, Reed, can you like really help pump up the team and like push us into good motion? I just truly speak how I'm feeling. And as I just explained to you, where I thought Tennessee was dead in the water and then how they fought back. And as I mentioned on the podcast last week and with Boogie and Coach Jay on Talking Vols, like this was going to be a heavyweight fight. They're going to make plays. We're going to make plays. And so I genuinely was like really bummed that we lost, really, really bummed. But I felt horrendous for Max, which we will get to. But I felt horrendous for Max, and I felt horrendous for the team. But it was like, yo, this is the third game of the year, our first real game. We looked awesome. We played awesome. I thought we were dead. We did the Undertaker rise back up and look around and then choke slam someone. We just didn't finish it. So that's why I was still like, I felt good. Like, I didn't feel good coming out of it, but I was not like just beside myself upset, if that makes sense. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that totally makes sense. And we'll dive into it.
Yeah.
Reasons being.
Yeah. We are sponsored by Bacon Junk Removal. Kyler got his sponsorship payment this weekend, which was a couch to sleep on, some free food, and some free beer. And some bourbon. So that's what he gets. Give us a shout.
A few months back charge there.
Oh. All right. Here's the quote for the week. It's pretty simple.
Jeez, he's writing a novel over here.
No, I just wrote it really big. It's literally 3 words. This takes us back to the early 2000s R&B. And it's Let It Burn by Usher. Let it burn. Let it burn. I am definitely one of those individuals that I've realized, and I hate how cliche and coach speak this sounds and how lame this sounds. It's like it's on an Adidas commercial or something, but it does make sense for me. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, because when I play something, I expect to win. And so when I don't win and I lose, it just eats at me, because those people can think they're better than me. So it's like Tennessee, You had your chance. Players, you have to let this bother you and fuel you. You can't let it defeat you, but you have to learn and motivate, because the only way we get better is if you recognize what you could have done better and then execute the next time. And so let it
you gotta fight to never feel that pain again.
Yeah. And Coach Heupel said it. I mean, I took a little bit of this, a little Coach Hype. He says, I want them to drink this in and soak it in and let it know how much it hurts. And when you're sitting in your dorm room and you're thinking about it, and you're like, hey, I could have done this a little bit different, or I could have made that catch, or whatever the case may be. And that is I'm not talking about just Max. Once again, we'll get there. Before I kick you off to CFB Week 3, I thought it was a funny picture that if anybody saw you and I on my couch last night, it would be hilarious. So you're fresh out of the shower, either in shorts or your underwear. I am just sitting there. We're both having our drink, but it's like we're sitting pretty close to each other, and we're watching. We have the multi-view up, and then as we're watching those games, we switch it over to the Texas A&M Notre Dame game because it's coming down the final, and a couple crazy things happen, and you and I are just like instinctively grabbing each other, hitting each other.
What?
Yeah, and we're just like, what? No way. And I'm like grabbing you, and it's like if someone literally looked in from my side view, they're like, what are these two dudes doing?
Exactly. What is this shirtless dude and this other dude doing?
Yeah, what's that bear and that other guy doing? All right, what's your thoughts on CFB Week 3?
But yeah, I mean, we weren't the only great game out there today. Just some of the top 25 stuff. Georgia Tech takes down Clemson. Clemson looks dead. I mean, dead as a freaking doorknob, dude. They're like, I don't know what's going to happen over there with Dabo. Let's see. Texas A&M, you just mentioned, a crazy finish, a missed extra point sets up Texas A&M to be able to take over
not missed, a bobbled snap.
Yeah, bobbled snap, which they could not keep themselves from panning over to Buddy the entire drive Texas A&M had. Notre Dame starting 0-2, and they've already had their bye week. It's just kind of wild, literally wild. And I don't really know how good Texas A&M is. Watching that final drive, I was like, these guys are not executing like they need to be. Like, no. I don't think Marcel Reed actually knows if he can throw the ball well. And I mean, what a prayer on like fourth down to the tight end. And they scored. And I mean, yeah, hey, they won the game. So give them props.
I would not be worried if Tennessee had to play Notre Dame or Texas A&M. I think the only thing that I have to, you and I saw that Vandy was up, which earlier in the day you're like, dude, I think Vandy's going to go and compete and potentially win that game. And then we look and they're beating the brakes off of them. And then it did make a little bit more sense when we found out Lenore Sellers got hit and knocked out of the game. But I was happy to see Vanderbilt win. I do not like Beamer. I did not like the South Carolina hype going into this year. So I love seeing them lose. And I'm not worried about Vandy. So it's like, let them beat whoever they want, because I'm not worried about playing them.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, their other big win versus Virginia Tech looks pretty bad, too. Virginia Tech losing to Old Dominion. Like, they're pretty roughed up. Gosh, who else? Texas looking tough, dude. Arch still looking tough. They, squeeze out a victory versus
you mean tough in a bad way, not like actual.
Yes, tough in a bad way. Very much tough in a bad way.
The only other thing, and then we can click this and start talking about what people really want to hear, is the Alex Golish, hot streak has ended, but that's fine, dude. It had to happen at some point. He's fine.
Miami looks like a fantastic team now. And then also DJ Lackway throwing 5 interceptions versus LSU.
Yowzers,
dude. I don't know what's happening there. I mean, dude, when he came in versus us 2 years ago, he looked like he was going to kill us again. It was going to be another backup Florida quarterback to kill us. And I was like, damn, we're going to have to deal with this guy for a couple years. And now he's just falling apart.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's
going on over there in Florida.
That's fine though. Keep demise. We love to see it, so it's fine with us.
So let's jump into this thing. What side of the ball you want to start on?
I mean, the game started hot with offense. So I mean, I'll jump here real quick and on offense. And first off, Joey's awesome. Joey's
officially awesome.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's a baller. That dude is everything that we thought Nico was going to be. I mean, he's cool as a cucumber. He makes plays. He legitimately through 1.5 quarters was nearly perfect, and then finally had technically 2 drops. I mean, one of them was a little bit behind Staley, but I just love how Joey. I just love how he commands the offense. I love how he moves in the pocket. He throws a really, really good ball. We've all been worried about his picks, and he's thrown 1 pick, or I guess he maybe had 2 yesterday, but one of them was that deep one that was potential PI, and the safety got over on it. But there's really not been a time this season where I'm like, oh my gosh, that gunslinger turnovers showing up to hurt us like maybe we were worried about.
For sure.
And then the other thing is I had mentioned 3 things going into this game: the crowd, the wide receivers, and the D line. Well, the crowd was awesome as always. Wide receivers were like A, but I don't know if I can give them an A+ because of some of the drops. There were probably 2 drops that really, really bothers me. Chris Brazzell was as good as you could be. That was
incredible.
Incredible performance.
He was the one that, like, I thought back on when we talked about, like, hey, you're going to have to win your one-on-one matchups and step up in this game. That's just what's going to have to happen. He was like, okay, I'll do it every time you throw me the ball. I'll win those.
And it was comeback routes. It was out routes. It was deep balls. It was the post that he scored on. It was just high back, went up and got it. Had a really nice comeback that was clutch, an out route that was clutch. There's a world where you play that game and you're still in that game without Chris, meaning say that first bomb he caught, maybe that was Mike, and then maybe the next one was Braylon Staley. And then maybe that back post was Miles. And it was kind of like this. But that's a very, very, very unlikely in my opinion. And I feel like that is what we have needed. We have needed that dominant receiver. And yesterday it was not just a little spark. It was like, yo, like I've arrived. Because last year – Dante was making a lot of plays, and then Chris had the amazing catch against Bama on 3rd and 6. But like besides that, we were like wanting to pull more from him. And I truly cannot. I could not been more impressed with his first one where it was PI and he still caught it with his hands. He still kept his feet going, and he scored. It wasn't that he just made the catch. He kept his feet and kept scoring. And then that next
guy was draped around his waist, and he stayed up.
And then the next one right in front of us, and that ball goes up, and I was like, oh no. And I'm watching, I was like, dude, this is potentially picked. And you and I
both play defense. That's all I thought.
We were both right there, like, just get to it and knock this away. And then the next thing you know, which is so funny about football, how it can be so magical, is like I'm literally like, oh my gosh. And the next thing you like realize is like, dude, he's walking in the end zone and the ref doing this. And I just I almost missed the whole thing because I was like, I mean, it doesn't make sense because there's no way I could have missed any of it because I was locked on it. But it's just like you don't even realize what just happened. And everyone's freaking out. And I'm just standing there like, no way.
Yeah, like how did that ball get into his hands?
Yeah, exactly. So Chris was awesome. And so it's like the 3 things that I thought, like the receivers pretty much stepped up, and the D line, it was almost there for the 3 things I needed because the receivers were good, not good enough, and the D line was good, but unfortunately not good enough. But anyways, offensively, go ahead. I tweeted it out. It's one of the offensive drives I've seen to start a game.
The starting drive, I thought the best part about that drive is just keeping the linebackers on their toes. I mean, every single play it was what they have to be perfect with their eyes to try and figure out what we're doing. We're running hitch right in front of them first play, right? They back up. It's easy 5-yard completion. Then we're running outside zone, getting them to run with it. Then we're doing a play action rollout, getting them to fake with the run, and then open up the crosser. A fake running back bubble with the tight end out to the side, but then Joey throws it on the other side of the field. It's just like everywhere. We're making them run everywhere, and it's exactly what Heupel wants out of the offense, like making those guys have to make decisions. And I think that was part of the reason why the running wasn't what I expected. I called out like being like, hey, whoever's going to run the ball the best is going to, win this game, which Georgia did, and Georgia won. But I didn't expect like having such pedestrian numbers in the rushing game, but still being in the game. And it really was because Joey was taking what the defense was giving him. He's like, all right, yeah, maybe they do have a light box, but they have 2 guys versus 2 guys out here. And I like that. It's not 3 versus 2. And he's just like, I'm going to let my guys eat. And then he followed through with it by leading his receivers out there on those little bubbles, leading his receivers on the digs and the outs and the comebacks and everything, to where the DBs didn't have chances to get those balls. They didn't have chances to make the tackles. It, like, in his placement of the ball, you could really tell, like, he knew what he was doing out there. So I just love that. I love just like, hey, we're giving Brazel a shot. I mean, he did it multiple times. Just like, we're giving it up to him. I trust him enough. Let's do it. So I love that. I love Joey, just like his movement in the pocket on that like second drive, like made that guy miss as he comes free. He beats Pendleton, so he's right in his face. But then he's like, "Ooh, okay, let me step out of you. Now let me find Mike. Just give me some yards." It's like that kind of stuff, which I mentioned too, is like, hey, can you make it work, right? When it's not perfect, and move around in that pocket and be able to find something downfield, because that's gonna happen. So I was impressed with the offensive line. I thought they did a great job in pass blocking. There were a couple times where I saw guys get beat, but like I just said with Pendleton, but like at the end of the day, we kept him clean most of the time. We let him have enough time to throw those deep balls. We were able to sell the run when we knew we're not running the ball. So I really like those things. Let's see. I mean, as I go through,
it's funny. The only thing you've kind of said everything I was going to say, but just to add to the offense, and you and I mentioned this in the stands. There's something to be said that, when you're the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel, and everyone knows we're going to run it, and we still come out and run it and establish the tone. That's awesome. That's about as manly a football as you can play, where they know what you're going to do and they still can't stop you. But as we talked about yesterday, when we were like, dude, this whole like not running like this is kind of wild to us. But I love it about Josh Heupel that he says, I'm not going to just be so ego or so that's the best word, but so ego that I'm just going to bash our head into a wall of just running into heavy boxes or trying to do stuff. Like, we will take what you guys give us and we will scheme what we can scheme off of what you guys are doing. And I always want to establish a run the ball, but like the nickel and diming, and I broke down here, we used all 53 yards. We used multiple people, and it was just bang, bang, boom. It was surgical. And that's what was like, that was what was so impressive about the drive to me. I mean, we've seen drives with Heupel where it's like, all right, run 6 yards, get up there, fast pace hitch, 5 yards, first down. Oh, next play, Jalen Hyatt over the top, touchdown. Right. And it's like, well, that's a pretty good way to start a game. But this was this was so surgical, got so many people involved. Wendelmo and Bishop did a great job, as well as Jesse and Miles on down block. So on the quarterback power run, which I do love that. I love that play call.
I do too. I love having the running back as a lead blocker on that. And then, the next drive, it was literally the toss up to Brazel, which we talked about. Just incredible by him. The next one was that one I talked about where Joey made his guy miss and found Mike, and then it was Brazel again in his post pattern. I thought it was great. They had a little clear out route to kind of bring that safety across first, and then it just left the middle open for him. So just patience by Joey, waiting for it to open up, hitting his man high in the back of the end zone. Only place he can get it. Let's see. I wanted to see Travis catch that ball. Travis Smith, as a young guy, he got popped. He got popped on that crosser and ended up dropping it, which stunk. But still, love that we got him on a legal substitution on a quick snap, because they were waiting every single time. I mean, whoever's the D-line assistant coach was staring at the wide receivers on our sideline. Like, as soon as a dude stepped foot onto the field to rotate, he was like, go, go, go. They were trying to rotate their D-line as much as they possibly could. And, I thought that helped them a lot, getting their third down D-line out there every time they could. Let's see. Throw to Braylon. He dropped it, hit him in the hands. It was behind him. It's not the best throw, but at the same time, in the hands. We saw around this time period too a drop by Bishop. I looked over at you, and I was like, I don't want that business. And then we saw him with gloves the rest of the game. So I think he got the message there. It's like, all right. I mean, I want to win more than I want to, be the no glove guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So to jump in there on a couple things, I've definitely felt, and it's, I got to remind myself, Reed, you told people it's going to be a back and forth, and they're going to make good plays too. But some of this kind of was frustrating because I felt like it wasn't necessarily them making plays. It was us continuing to not execute, which no one's perfect. So I can't ask that we're not going to have some miscues or things like that. But this is at a point in a game where if you go up 28-7 and you pull Georgia out of their game plan, then we might not even have to worry about where it ends. Not to say that the game was not going to still be a good game and that the Georgia was not going to punch back, because I'll be honest, that was this is one of the last year for sure, and then this year are like the 2 years I've really sat and watched Kirby and kind of understood what he wanted to do, and then watch him execute it right in front of my eyes. Same thing with Mike Bobo, which we'll talk about when we talk about our defense. But if you could have potentially pulled them out and not been able to run it, lean on us, chew up the clock, those things, then I think it could have been nice. And so when I'm sitting there and it's like, I love the beautiful play action on first down. I absolutely love that. And there was one where it was like, I love the tight split by Heupel to bring Mike, and instead of Mike Matthews going over the line of scrimmage and running in between their D-line and linebackers, he brings them behind our line of scrimmage, so he is running as free as you can, and it's an easy throw and an easy play to run to get one of your better players the ball in his hands. Mike does a good job with some yak, does make one guy miss, so I love that. We've already mentioned it. I got a note that says Joey being a baller. You were screaming at me when I came back from the bathroom about the intentional grounding. That's wild to me. And the fact that Kirk Herbstreit asked their little official guy who watches the game, and he's like, yeah, that's a good call. I was like, dude, no way.
There's a guy right there.
But it doesn't but I don't think it really mattered though too, which we didn't understand this in the stands, but when you're rewatching it, there was another penalty anyway. So they were still going to get some sort of penalty. It was a good route by Jordan. Tough run by Starr that I have there. The part that you were talking about with Travis, I got to give a shout out. That play by that corner for Georgia was Awesome, awesome, awesome. He's sitting and he's playing the difference. So he's got Joey rolling out in front of him. And instead of his eyes getting just sucked into Joey and running up, he watches Joey. He stays in his zone. He has, I'm pretty sure it's Chris that's to the left of him. And if Joey had like done a like little Patty Mahomes no look or like last second throws it, then Chris is going to catch it and keep his feet in bounds. But Joey kind of had locked on Travis and he throws it to him and Travis still needs to catch it. But it was a great job by that corner being like, all right, I'm here. I got the sideline right here as a defender. Joey's right here. And he worked his way back to read those eyes and he goes in and lays the big hit. But all of those things that kind of just started to take place is like where even if you can just go down and get a field goal, 24-7, that's where you can hopefully pull Georgia out of what they do. But I think the next drive that I'm on my note wise, let me know where you are. Once again, love the play action on first down. Oh yeah, that's what I just talked about. This next one was pretty frustrating to me when I rewatched it. It was coming right towards us in the stands. I don't know why Miles didn't attack that nickel. Once again, to give Georgia credit with Kirby, his defense, they do not get rattled. They play super, super sound, and those guys, every one of them plays physical as shit. I mean, there was guys that if they could, they would put a shoulder on a guy to reroute him, and they would attack. I mean, it was either their corner or nickel, and you got Miles running out there, and you got Peyton Lewis running out there, and you got one nickel. And you're like, this is exactly what we want as Coach Heupel. I'm going to get it to one of my fastest guys running up the sideline. And I know the throw probably wasn't great, and then Miles or Peyton doesn't catch it. But you watch that nickel, and he attacks Miles. Miles is a large individual. He is a big boy. And we like Miles, and he's a good player. But it's like, dude, you got to get up there and bring the punch to this nickel because if we catch that, Peyton is taken off down that sideline because we caught him in man. So it was like little stuff like that. I was like, dang it. Like, you got to always be taking the fight. And last thing, I get it because I played receiver, and I know it's just at the high school level. But when you are a receiver and you're going up to block someone in space, and you can speak to this as a big boy, I mean, it's even more difficult for you because of the lack of foot speed compared to the guy that you're going against. So I get that Miles is probably like not wanting to overrun it or be some big barbarian running down there and completely whiff, but they were close enough that it was like, yo, stick your neck in this thing and blast, buddy. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah. And I that's almost a good example too for like when we talk about defense, where I just like saw some of our guys like not attacking the blocker like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
On defense and being like, like when I said technique earlier, I'm like, why are we not running through this dude's face?
Yeah.
And making the backs or whoever has the ball in their hand, like make tough decisions, almost forcing it upon them.
Mm-hmm.
So right around this time, this is where it kind of slows down. The offense comes to a halt, and we literally have, I think, 5 or 6 drives in a row where it goes punt, interception before half, after half, punt, interception. So 5 drives in a row, 2 interceptions, 3 punts. After those 5 drives, I was totally like in the headspace. We don't have it. We started hot, but we can't figure it out anymore. We're not executing like we need to. These guys are, they're not going to be able to get over that hump. And this team, just proved me wrong. Because after that, it was touchdown, field goal, and missed field goal in the last one. But it was, we need it. We need it. Let's go get it. Touchdown, field goal. So that was where after halftime, after those 5 drives, it was like, oh shit, what's going to happen to this team?
Yeah.
That's really when it felt like it was going way. But during that time frame, there's this one play on 3rd down. We got Mike Matthews screaming across the field on a little crosser. We don't get this third down. Mike catches the ball. He's about 3 yards away, and the DB for Georgia lays the wood on him, and he still catches it, which I was impressed with. And I thought to myself, dude, that DB, rewatching, I was like, that DB had great eyes. He understood something's going away from me, so something's coming to me. He literally saw it, what you talked about before. If something's going away, something's coming to. He reacted that way. He saw him coming to him. He stepped up and made that play. But me and you in the stadium talking about it, and you said, man, they're playing up on those freaking drags. They're all over them. They want to be up in those faces of those wide receivers. We got to hit something behind them. I think that they can do a little drag and a little up. And I said, well, yeah, what about if they bring somebody from the other side of the field up over top? They're like, yeah, that'd be good too. That'd be good too. Not thinking anything of it. Hopefully they can do that. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. But we ended up taking advantage of that. So that was a great play. I thought the interception that Joey had before the half was a little bit of a forced throw to Mike. There's a safety back there. He wants the deep ball, but there were other guys in man coverage that had a little bit of a step on their guys, more than Mike did. So it did feel like Joey was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna throw the deep ball. It's like, well, how about the corner that was open? How about the drag coming across the field? Like, we don't always have to hit the deep ball, and it was 3rd and 4. So it's like you just got to get some yards here.
Yeah. We'll get to my excitement level when we continue. I think the only thing, I'm good. Keep cooking. Yeah. I felt the same way with that throw. I felt the same thing with that throw.
Yeah, forced. After halftime, first time getting the ball, Joey throws the pick. And at that moment, that was when we were at our lowest as a team, as a fan base, because Georgia just had gone on a 7-minute drive, scored, took the lead, and then we throw a pick. So it was down in the dumps there for a minute. And I think what truly brought us out of that is the catch we talked about earlier, Brazel just making a miracle happen and coming down with that football when it looked like this is going to get picked. This is going to be the 3rd pick. Brazel said, nope, I want it better. I want it more. I'm going to go get it.
It's just, it's what we talked about. It's what we mentioned, on ours, and then once again to bring up talking Vols. But I mean, I just said some people got to clutch up. Like, these are the games where people have to clutch up, and it's weird because as a Tennessee fan, we didn't win this game, but there were still plays where guys clutched up, and there were plays that we didn't, and Georgia did. But that feeling in the stadium was just it was so weird, and I tweeted it out, and then I called my dad to be like, yo, on TV, does it look like they're leaning on us? And it was funny because I was saying that the last drive of the first half, and we could kind of tell then, but my dad was like, no, it's fine. He's like, but then he texts me on that first drive of the 3rd quarter, and he's like, yeah, they're leaning on us. Where I was like, okay. So like now it's starting to be evident. Two things I don't want to forget to talk about. I have to give a shout out to let's see here, to Bennett Brady, the long snapper, to get down there and to pin that puppy. I mean, that's outstanding, and that is about that's the best play that he can make at his position, except for big hit fumble or recovering a fumble. But that was outstanding football, and I love that moment that he got to have that moment. And another thing is too, and I do not want to get on a long tangent with this, but Boo Carter just being a non-factor. He basically had probably 2 really good tackles. We will talk about him defensively, but didn't do anything on special teams. Did have the muff. Thank goodness he got it back. And it's something I noticed the first 2 games. This is the first game I'm in-house, so I get to watch him when I like at dead balls or TV timeouts. There's something that seems to be very off with Boo. And if you're already down Jamon McCoy, Ricky Gibson, you don't have some of the depth of D-line going into the season, Boo was supposed to be one of our better players, one of our not even better players, one of our best players on the team as a whole team.
Yeah.
With the fandom that people had for him, with the, I guess, wanting more NIL money and all that. And so it's like the fandom, the expectations, the pay. And I was always sitting there telling you, like, dude's a good player, but like he wasn't even a full-time starter last year. He ain't a full-time starter this year. Jalen McMurray is in there. And whether that's because they think Jalen McMurray's a pretty good player or because of some of this other stuff that they're having to deal with Boo, but he's a rotational guy. But I'm telling you, it is really, really weird and seems very evident to me that those players still are not huge fans of his because guys do not come up and celebrate with him. He does not really celebrate with them. There was probably 3 different times yesterday that I saw, and the first punt he caught, the only person to come congratulate him was a coach, and he walked all the way to the sideline without anyone else just like giving him a helmet tap or like a butt slap. And then when he muffed the other one, it was a coach again, like coming up to him like, and to be honest, I didn't recognize the coach, so I'm guessing it was a staffer, not even like a position coach. You know, I didn't notice the wide receivers coach or Martinez or anybody. It was just it just seems very weird. And I mean, he's in on the play where Joshua Joseph makes a strip sack. He's there to like kind of get it. And last year he played with a lot of fire and a lot of intensity. And I'm telling you, I think it's awkward for everybody there, because I think whether he realizes that he messed up or those guys are like, dude, F this guy, like he's just there, and they've never been able to like squash it. And it's like, so he plays because he's still fine at playing, but I don't know. Very, very evident that something's amiss there. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if dude doesn't make it through the season, and I will be shocked. I will be shocked if he's on this team next year.
Agreed. I very weird. Didn't seem very connected with everybody. Feels like he plays nonchalantly.
Yeah. Which was not how he played last year.
Yeah, not how he played last year. Not with that energy, not with that passion, and also like he's really wanting his opportunity for punt returns and get his name on the scoreboard. And that's just like I want to make sure and set myself up so that I can go somewhere else next year kind of mentality. So I'm with you on that. Let's see. Then, so interception in that second half, tough. Next drive. I'm pretty sure this is the one with our play. Or no. Brazel touchdown was first. And then where he got it over the cornerback. And then this drive. Just needed it so bad. We are down 27-30. We need a score. And we start with Star Thomas absolutely bursting, accelerating through the hole with a lead block by Mo and Perry coming through there. Fantastic. He gets about 30 yards on the run and looks like he shot out of a cannon. Absolutely love it. You got just good play by everybody. It's only like a 4-play drive, and then we hit this drag and up by Staley. And it's exactly what you called out, exactly what you thought, hey, maybe we can take advantage of this. And I've never seen Reed's face light up more than that, because he's like, I ain't just a fan, motherfucker. I'm a coach.
It was
Give me a headset.
It was pretty funny because I had just sat there and seen earlier in that we hit him with a drag, and whoever it was, Mike caught it, and then we hit him with another drag, and someone else caught it. And I thought Heupel did offensively. I loved that he did a lot of motions. He did a lot of good jobs, like on that Braylon Staley drop. He did a great job bringing him in motion, letting him release behind Miles. Miles goes in on just a little drag. He's open, but Braylon's there. So I thought Heupel was fantastic yesterday. But I just see that corner, and that is coached. So that is coached by Kirby to sit there on that, watch that, and blast these dudes. And so I'm sitting there, and I told you, I said, listen, these guys, I've watched it 3 plays now. We completed 2, and they broke up 1. And I said, they're sitting so hard on this. I said, all one guy's going to have to do is show that again, and right as that safety's starting to make his break down, you step up right behind him. And so I'm kind of like watching the play and watching the ball, and I look up, and Joey throws it, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, Braylon's there. And I'm like, holy crap. So we're just going nuts. Well, then I pull out my phone, and thanks to good old Big Daddy Danny White, I can pull my phone up and pull up YouTube TV and watch stuff perfectly. And so I'm sitting there, I'm watching the replay, and because I was like, dude, after I kind of realized what just happened and we were calmed down from celebrating, I said, I think they might have just done what I mentioned. And you were like, really? Pull my phone out, look at it. I show you the replay, and it shows that safety come down, Braylon take 1 step. Joey had enough time because it's a little bit of a developing play.
Yeah, for sure.
And Joey just takes that one little step and almost pops it. And I looked at you, and I started slapping you, and I was like, let's go. I was so juiced. I was like, that is one of my best football moments as a non-player ever. And you and I were just going so hype. And, that felt cool. That one felt cool for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, that one hit different.
Yeah. It did.
That one hit different.
Yeah. I guess the only difference is my bank account because your boy ain't getting paid.
Yeah, you get it on that one. And then next drive, this is the one everyone's talking about. This is after a turnover, 3 run plays, and a field goal kick. And I told you at that time, I said, you get a turnover and plus territory, I need a shot. I don't care if you run it on 2nd and 3rd after that, but I want a shot on 1st down. I want that defense wasn't expecting to be out there. They thought they had some time bit sitting on the bench. Now they're out there. They're getting lined up. They don't know what's coming, what could come on 1st down. I mean, some kind of a trick play, some kind of a shot. Like, just give me something deep downfield, something that can really throw everybody for a loop. And remind me, because I was thinking about it, was there a penalty on 1st down? I almost thought there was like a false start or something, and then it was 1st and 15, and then he ran it, and I thought, did that affect the thought process? Did that affect the play call?
Well, you and I had a lengthy discussion sitting there, and you were like, because maybe it was he either ran it and then there was a penalty or something else. You're like, dude, like, I want a shot play. I said, Kyler, I hear you. Change of possession, take a shot play. I said, I totally understand that. I said, but this instance, for me personally, I agree with Heupel because we are up 5. And if you kick a field goal and they have to go down and score a tutty and a 2-point conversion, I said, that hits so different for me. And I said, so I'm fine personally if he runs it 3 times and kicks the field goal. I was wrong that we were not able to hold on to that. But I thought, and if I was a coach, I would have done the exact same thing. You would have done it different because you would have said, hey, we might have ended up with another touchdown from Razzle Dazzle, Mr. Brazzle. We could have hit that. Or even if it's not a touchdown, you get a chunk play, and then you end up scoring a touchdown off it. So that could have easily happened where you get the tutty.
If it's incomplete, I can run it on 2nd and run it on 3rd, give me 5 more yards, and I still have a reasonable field goal.
And for me, I would have 1,000% agreed if we were only up 4, if we were only up 3, and a field goal only puts us up 6 or 7. But with that 8, I was like, man, they're going to have to drive all the way down on score a 2-point conversion. Well, they clutched up and they did it. But you and I did go back and forth on that. So it's easy for people to now say kind of what they think, but you and I were discussing before it ever happened. So
yeah. So everyone's aware, Max makes a 48-yarder to put us up 38-30, a 48-yarder. Okay. Yeah. Then the next time we get the ball is 2 minutes. The game is tied. We need a score. And we march down the field with ease. I'm going to add you. We got runs by Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas bouncing to the outside using their speed. Got a great little play action hit to Miles that's getting up on the edge. We got an out route by Staley to start the drive, which was great. Hit him in stride. Not behind him. Ball wasn't behind, following towards the sideline. Multiple times guys get out of bounds to stop the clock as we continue to drive. Then we get close. And it is 3rd and 7. No, 3rd and 2 with 7 seconds left. And we have timeouts. And we call a quarterback run play to center up the ball in the middle of the field. And we get a false start on the line. That was the opportunity Coach Heupel gave the offense to finish the game, was that play. They fucked it up. They fucked up their opportunity to finish the game by jumping offsides. If I'm a coach and I go, hey, here you go, boys. This is a quarterback run. We're getting to the middle of the field. You're setting it up for a 38-yarder for Max so he can make this, and you're centering it. And then they fuck up with a pre-snap penalty. What is my thought process in that moment? I can't let them fuck this up again and make this an even deeper field goal. So I'm going to have to kick it. We're going to have to kick it now. You fucked up your chance. Okay? So then Max goes out there. Pressure gets to him. And it's a 43-yard attempt. And he hits that thing wide right. It never had a shot. It looked like it did in the stands from where we were sitting, but it never had a shot. And people were upset. Hey, he needs to do it. He needs to center the ball, and then call a timeout. No. Not after my guys fucked it up. I was all with it. Perfect. This is what we're going to do. It's 3rd down and 2. Let's set it up. Nope, not anymore. You lost your opportunity. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that risk. I can't trust you. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
So that's why I said in the beginning, chances for us to win the game, defense fucks up the opportunity. Offense fucks up the opportunity. Special teams fucks up the opportunity. So it ain't on one dude.
Yeah, and even not even necessarily that, but like you go to overtime and we got a nice play to start it and Mike drops it. And from where we were sitting, it looked like he catches that. He has a potential chance to score. You score on the first play of overtime, that flips that momentum back to us. Place is going bananas. Now they have to answer.
Even getting a first down there would have been huge.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't put it all on Max at all. I couldn't breathe basically on the drive when after they scored, and which we'll get to defense. I promise we're about to get there. When they scored and they got that 2-point conversion and we're going down, I was like, I just sat. I sat and looked up like this and watched the whole thing on the board because I just couldn't watch it live in front of me. And they clutched up and they got down there in very manageable position. They did, poop themselves at that last little bit. And I do not love. I do think there is something to say that if we had just, we ran, now it's 3rd and 2, or whatever it was, third down, if they just kind of said, hey, we're going to run it again and then clock it with 1 or 2 seconds, and then Max trots out there, I do think there's probably a better chance he makes it compared to what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to do it. Now there's a penalty. And because it felt like in the stands, it felt like a good 5-10 minutes of just like, hey, everyone knows what's coming, but how are we going to do it? And that means Max has to be over there absolutely just in a spin cycle. And the reason that I feel like the pressure got to him is it's not a game-winning field goal to like beat Mississippi State or Arkansas or even Oklahoma. This kid remembers what happened in 2022. I know he wasn't on the team, but there's no way that no one knows even non-Tennessee and Alabama fans, just college football fans, remember what happened. And you end that streak, you make the field goal, you become Bloodbath McGrath, you are a hero, you are a legend. They storm it. It's one of the best scenes in college football of the past 20-something, 30-something years. He is thinking of, I can end this streak against Georgia. We may potentially, the fans might rush the field. They might try to tear down this goalpost again if we would have still had to kick off and stop pitchy, woo-woo and stuff like that. But this is a dang 17, 18, 19-year-old kid. I felt a lot of pressure for him. Now, I made a joke at the end of the game. Like, that's why I never tried to play kicker, because I did not want that. That is not me. Let me try to clutch up and make you a tackle on the goal line, but I'm not swinging my leg and trying to put this thing. So it's in a way like he's been a good kicker for us, and I get the whole like you have one job, but he had the pressure, and I do not mean this hyperbole. He had the pressure to become a Tennessee legend. He was going to be up there with Chase McGrath. And that is a lot. And unfortunately, he didn't put a good kick on it. He did come back and make the kick in overtime, which at that point, it's like, hey, good job. He didn't let it defeat him. But then it's almost even more frustrating. It's the second time you make the putt. It's like, it doesn't really matter now. But I just feel bad for the kid because he went home last night and was thinking how he let the entire fan base of Tennessee down, his teammates down, himself down, and now he still has to continue on. Like, that's tough. That's a tough for a youngster.
We're going to need him. We're going to need him again.
Yeah.
So, all right, defensive side of the ball. So, starting the game, that first drive, they hit that little deep ball down the sideline over the shoulder, and on that play, Tyree West absolutely whips his dude on a spin move inside, and he just can't keep his feet to get enough pressure on the quarterback. And I think that was something the D-line had success with, is getting pressure on the quarterback, whether it actually be sacks or just hits on them. I like in passing situations, I thought that was good. In the running situations is where the D-line struggled. So like when you said they played good, it's like, yeah, the part where they didn't was running the ball. That's where they didn't play good. But I also think there were times where Georgia really did a very good job of blocking. They did a very good job of play calls. They were inventive in what they were doing. The little pin and pull quarterback runs. Yeah. They did one on their first drive that literally we had a tight end, we had a tackle in twist, and literally Caleb Herring twists to the inside A gap, and they run pin and pull to the outside where he just was. And they get, 14 yards. And it's like, shit. Like, they ran the perfect play against what we were going to do. And I've seen that play happen before with James Pierce last year, where he comes to the inside and no one touches him. He blows up the run right down the middle. But they ran it to the outside. So it's like, hey, they're calling good plays. They start hitting us on slants. They start coming across the middle and hitting those when we're trying to, be up in there. We're trying to play some zone. They're hitting in between the zones. We're trying to play some man. They're able to get inside of our guys. So I don't know. And then this was the first one that I saw. They, on the touchdown with the quarterback, They have a 2 tight end, one in motion, one coming with lead blockers around the edge with a play action fake, pretty much. So he fakes running back to the left. He goes right, has 2 tight end lead blockers. And the way in which Arian Carter took on the block of the tight end really upset me.
Same.
I did not like that at all. I know Arian Carter is a good player, and that makes it even worse, where I'm like, you're not attacking this dude. He has total control of you, and you're not affecting the play whatsoever. And that's just not good enough. That is just not good enough. And then later in the game, I see other guys not attacking those blocks, not making a difference when they come up, just being out of control. I saw one Arian where he's like, he doesn't even look where the ball is. He just, there's a blocker there. He just stares at him and takes him on. The ball goes right by him. I'm like, guys, like, what kind of football are we playing here? You need to play smart football. You need to be attacking blockers while also holding your position. Yeah. You need to be thinking about, hey, how can I do this and keep my outside hand free?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things need to be going through their heads, and it just felt like guys are just kind of throwing themselves in there.
Yeah.
They don't have intention about what they're doing.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Which was disheartening, or frustrating, bummed out. And 2 years in a row, I'm giving Mike Bobo a ton of credit, Kyler. I thought he called an awesome game. Awesome game. He used all 53 yards like Heupel, but in a much different way. But he said, once again, just like last year, I'm going to use Tennessee's defense aggression against them. And it was so frustrating sitting in there in that stands because it's like a high school team there, just bubble right, bubble left, bubble right, bubble left. But it was smart.
Slant.
Run
right. Run in the middle. Bubble left. Slant.
Then they did a lot of
screen.
Then they showed us a lot of eye candy. I mean, that first play that you just talked about was absolutely beautiful. They get the eyes going that way, comes back. You got 2 pullers. I don't like how Andre Turntine played it. I don't want to beat up on a guy. It's a short season. I mean, it's been not many games so far this year, but he's just kind of there to me right now. He's not a difference maker, and a guy who's been in the program now for a while and getting his opportunity. I'm seeing Idris Farouk make a lot more plays than Andre Turntine is. Yeah. I thought for Idris Farouk played awesome. There was a couple ones that I saw while I was there and on film. I'm like, yo, that's a bad man right there, and he's a youngster. And so you love to see that, but like, you know, is Turntine going to give me a pick, a big hit, a strip? I mean, that one, you said it exactly. Arian almost seeks out the blocker, like, hey, I need to take this blocker on. You know what? No, you don't. At that point, if you can slide and just make the tackle, that's all you're there to do, is to stop someone from scoring, not taking on a block. You're right. His eyes didn't go, where's Gunner? Let me get him. He goes, that guy's pulling. I need to hit him and take him on. It's like, no, you don't. And that feels like that's a coaching technique that they're wanting them to take them on. But I don't like that. I do not like that. That would never be the case, especially in that situation. Maybe in other ones, but you already said it. Taking on the block, keep your outside, or in that case, your inside arm free. And then Turntine just was nothing. He shouldn't have even been on the play because he sees it, but then he kind of overruns it. Doesn't even get a hand on Gunner. And so I agree with you as a whole defensively. There were it's hard for me to say this because there's a lot of guys on Tennessee's defense that I really like, and there's none of them that I think are scared. There's none of them that I think are soft. I think they will all put their nose in the fan and eat something, but at times, I don't know if it's mentally they are second-guessing or they're worried about something else, but they're just not – there were times where they were just not bringing the fight like Georgia's DBs and linebackers were. I mean, matter of fact, Coach Jay talked about it. He talked about, like, I wanted to see the physicality, and so I guess he was spot on with it. But, like, dude, what are we doing? Like, hit someone in the mouth, get off a block, and go make a tackle. And I got really – we'll talk about it, but I was furious at Tim Banks rewatching where they scored on 3rd and 7, and he shows it. He says, I'm mugging up, I'm blitzing, and we are man. He didn't drop out of it. He actually brought it, but he has all 3 of our guys at like 6, 7, 8 yards at the sticks, and it is the easiest throw for a gunner. The blitz doesn't do anything because they don't have time to get
quick. He threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. He's throwing a bubble screen, and then you got to have Jalen McMurray, Andre Turrentine, or Boo all come up. And Jalen came up fiery and hit, but the block ate him. He didn't get off the block and make tackle. Boo came up pretty physical, but he got eaten too. And Turrentine's not fast enough. And so it's like
he also took a bad angle. Turrentine didn't break down the right. He almost over pursued inside, and then guy just went out. There was no chance.
So agreed, but I'm a little bit on that one. I'm going to take up for Turrentine a little bit because I watched that a couple times, and as a safety, I'm like, dude, if he overruns that and gets outside, I still think there's a house call coming back inside. So he was trying to play it inside out, which you're taught to do that, like kind of play it inside out. You always want to turn something back in, but when you're going to try to make an open field tackle, you want to be inside out. And so I just think he just lacked of foot speed, and it was great blocking. But that one
I thought that was a prime example of what you talked about with Boo earlier. Like, it just didn't feel like like the fieriness that he had last year. It didn't feel like that.
No, I feel like it'd been Boo last year. His ass would have gone up there and busted Buddy and made a flying tackle. But the thing that I was so pissed at Tim Banks about, you have trips. Why do you need all 3 of our DBs at the sticks, even if they are going to try to go quick slant or like a rub route or anything? I don't like where they are. Put at least one guy, and I said this at the stadium, I said put one guy head up on the diamond or the trips, like have one guy up there, because if it is quick, I want him to already initiate. And sometimes it's you block him into the pass, or the guy catches it, but he's got his blocker in his lap and he can't get going. That's the one play that I hate.
And that play was the first play of the second quarter.
Yeah.
So there was a little just time between quarters where it was like, hey, this play's 3rd and 7. If we can get them off the field. That was the thought process. That was come up with. This is what we're going to do. We're going to mug everybody up. We're going to send everybody. It's going to be man coverage on the outside, and you're going to play 10 yards back. And it's like, but even before that, I'm seeing dudes like the D-line, just seeing Utley, man on man getting moved 5-6 yards off the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, you're not the one I expected it out of. So it's hard for me to hold you to a certain expectation. Yeah. It's like I expected Moy to be in there. You know what I mean? Like I didn't expect you to be there. So it's like somewhat of a pass, but not really. Because that's not what Rodney Gardner teaches you, and I know that. Yeah. And then, like, the 4th down, we're there. It's 4th and 3. We can get them off the field. Great play on 3rd down. And Boo just lets the guy go inside of him, just inside release, just easy pitch and catch on a slant, 1st down. And that's 2 4th downs this year alone that Boo has missed the opportunity to make a play. That one, and then there was the other one versus Syracuse where he comes on a blitz untouched versus a white fucking quarterback, and he misses. Buddy makes him fucking miss. And I'm like, you're supposed to be the best athlete on the field. Yeah. That's what you want people to know about you. Yeah. And I need you to be. That's what's needed.
Yeah, I got frustrated in the stands on that 4th and 3 because that's the easiest pitch and catch for a quarterback is right in front of his face and coming right in. And that's why I said, why is Boo letting him cross his face like that? Like, why is he not make them throw a quick out, make them throw a hitch? You cannot let them do the most routine. It is when Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart are sitting there saying it's 4th down, we got to have it. What is the best matchup they have? They got their speed guy. Now, you would think Boo Carter would be one of our best players on the field athletically to stay with their fastest guy. They said, let's just do the quickest, little easy. We won't let their time for the rush to get here. We'll just throw a little hitch. And since we were in man and brought a blitz, there was no backers there because our one backer was peeling to go get the running back. And so it was the easiest thing in the world, and I just hated that Boo let him cross his face so easy. Like, no hands on him, no reroute, no nothing. And that's a bummer. Yeah. It's a bummer.
Bummer. And then it's also like when you watch the game, you watch it back, like, where are the throws that Gunner had, success on? He's got his bubbles on the outside. Yes, successful. He's got his slants and his digs across the middle that he's got success on. And then he had his few little bucket throws where he's throwing it over the shoulder of his guy, he's throwing it outside the red line so his guy can go get underneath it.
Yeah.
But when he had to throw towards the sideline, when there were corners and out routes, he was missing buddies. He was overthrowing dudes. That's where he struggled the most. And it's like – Reed just had an earthquake, sign drop. But that's where it's like, yeah, don't let him get the inside stuff, the easy stuff, the stuff right in front of his face, because that is easier for the quarterback.
It's like when he had to drop back and really kind of read through a progression. And honestly, I don't remember. I know you've brought up a couple times now that the slants and some digs. For me, it felt more like outside, 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 outside. I know we just talked about the 1-4 down, but I don't feel like he just didn't sit back there and really dice us up. It was all quick. Hey, we're not gonna let Gunner lose us this game. But then again, like the throw that he made on that 4th down, and even to start the game, they were excellent throws. Ty Redmond, as a true freshman, put in the biggest game of the year, and he gets beat on that double move. And it was right in front of us to start the game. I thought he actually kind of got back in coverage decently well. He just didn't turn his head around. But you know what? He made the tackle. He didn't give up a tutty. And then on the 4th down, the heartbreaking 4th down, that throw and that catch by Gunner and Humphreys was awesome. He threw it because Ty was in pretty darn good coverage. If you want to be honest, I think the coverage on the the kind of short corner route was probably going to be the smarter play. And I don't even remember who was in coverage on that one, but I felt Ty had really, really good coverage. But you cannot play coverage. No corner in the universe can play corner on a perfect throw or play coverage on a perfect throw. And that was that over the side. I mean, that's a hell of a catch. I mean, that's why they won, because that was a hell of a catch.
Track that ball is incredible.
Yeah, and so it's not like it was bad coverage, in my opinion. If someone comes out and tries to say that was bad coverage, and Georgia again did smart stuff. They're like, we're going to attack the true freshman. We're going at him because even if he is a pretty good player and played well, if you get 1 or 2 on him early, you have no idea how this kid's going to react. He's 18 years old in the biggest game of his life.
And what was incredible on 2nd down before that 4th down, Gunner tried to do the same thing that he did on the 4th down. He threw a little moon ball up on the sideline, and it was a bad throw.
Yeah.
It was inside. The DB had forced the guy to the sideline, and it was inside, and there was no chance for the wide receiver to get to it. So it was like that one was a bad one, and 2 plays later he throws the perfect one.
Yeah.
Right after. But, still towards the beginning of the game, that touchdown we talked about after the 2nd quarter, they just continued dinking and dunking as they went down the field. Then I think this was after the punt. They were just driving here, there. We get down towards the end, and defense blows up.
Yeah,
forces a field goal. Caleb Herring comes around the edge, gets the sack, and then quarterback tries to run it outside. McMurray hawks him down and makes the tackle before he can get there, and we forced the field goal. And it's like times like that, I really was impressed that the defense was able to step up. Times where when we threw the interception in the second half,
yes,
after they had just gone on a massive drive, the defense forces a field goal. And it's like you just got your butts road graded, okay, coming out of halftime. Absolutely road graded. 14 play, 75 yards, 7 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock. Do just boom, 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 down the field, down the field, down the field, down the field, here, this way, that way. And yeah, I mean, just there were times that the defense stood up. There were times that, Joshua Josephs, that freaking strip sack to give us the ball back after we're up, where I thought we should have taken advantage of it. It's like JJ making a fucking play. That's what I love to see, because sometimes it's like, hey, I need my guy to win his one-on-one.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you're going to block me with just a tackle? I got you. But I got, on that 75 yard drive, I got Arian looking, literally there's a bubble and a fucking lineman running outside, and I got Arian in position. He is in between the ball carrier and the blocker, and the blocker's coming towards him, and he looks directly at him. He turns his fucking head and engages him, and the ball carrier runs by him.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, in what world are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking about when you're out there in space? I got, Tyree. I thought he played a fantastic game. I mentioned him the first play of the game where he does his spin move, but he's got another pressure on the quarterback, and we think, oh yeah, this is good defense. We bat the ball away on a third, and then they call PI on us for some hand fighting, which, I mean, I'm like, dude, there was hand fighting way before on the other side.
Which I thought there wouldn't be PI. I didn't think there could be PI if the ball was batted at the line of scrimmage. Is that just an NFL rule?
Well, I don't know if it was batted or not. Like, Tyree hit him as he released it, but I don't know if he touched the ball because it was still pretty close to the wide receiver. And then they had a play call, which I thought was great by Mike Bobo. They are set up. They got three wide receivers, they got three wide receivers to the left, to the wide side of the field. They got one tight end up on the line to this right side, short side of the field. They have running back in the backfield. He motions out to the other wide receivers. They snap the ball, and it's an outside zone to the right with a quarterback run. And they had to block three guys. That was it. They had to block Arian, they had to block Utley, and they had to block whoever the defensive end was, and it was an automatic 10 yards. Yeah. It was the easiest play setup for them ever because everybody moved with everyone else, and there wasn't anybody over there except for the safety who ended up making the tackle after he gained 14. So it's like stuff like that. That happened during that 75-yard, like after the halftime. It's stuff like that where it's like, shit, man. They were calling this game. Mike Bobo was calling this game and setting this shit up.
I think, yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you keep going, and I'll see where you finish.
I had another Arian where like they ran a little bubble and he's trying to pursue, and he literally like no one touches him and he misses the ball carrier. And I'm like, did you close your eyes just because you saw some traffic? Like, what was that? I got a very light box. Arian's kind of out to the side, so T-Lander's the only linebacker in there, and they run it gush right up the middle, and T-Lander almost takes himself out of the play. Literally makes – like, I looked at it from offensive lineman perspective. I was like, thanks, bud. Like, I didn't have to do anything. You ran to the outside, and it was just wide open in the middle.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah.
And those are things where I'm like, guys, like this is right after halftime. Like, what are we doing? Why are we not attacking? Why are we not fitting where we need to? Why are we not like keeping eyes inside as we play out? Like controlling your blocker and keeping your inside hand free. Like these just technique things that any good coach is teaching are just not happening.
Yeah,
out there on the field.
I think some of it is the style of defense we do play, because we play such an attacking style of defense. And I can't remember if I was talking about this on the podcast or on a phone call, and if it was a phone call, who it was, but we are always designed to get in the backfield, try to have sacks, try to have tackle for losses. But when you're that aggressive, you give up alleyways, and usually it's the really good teams like Alabama's and Georgia's that will take advantage of it. And as you mentioned, we are beating up on the defense, but they still did a darn good job of holding this team to 3 to let their offense get back on the bike and get pedaling again. And we don't want to sound like we're beating up on certain players, because there are things that we like about some of these certain players. But these are what you would call teaching points of how they need to get better. Saying all that to say the style of defense is, we're not playing a picket fence defense. Like, that was something that we played in high school, and it was, you can get in the backfield by 1 or 2 yards, but your gap, if you get gashed in your gap, you're hearing about it when we're watching film. So it's Tennessee. I'm assuming they have gap responsibilities, but it very much is they're not coming, holding their block and waiting and shedding and making a tackle. I mean, if they can get upfield, they're getting upfield. And the good teams that we play do a good job of taking advantage of it. I think the way Tim Banks looked at it is, they might take advantage of it a couple of times, but we're going to fight back and get our sacks and stuff like that. And that is where some of the stuff I want to shout out, like you mentioned, there was guys that no more James Pierce, no more Norman Lott. Where's the pressure coming from? Joshua Joseph was awesome against the run last year. He showed up in the biggest moment, in the biggest games this year, made that strip sacks. Caleb Herring, a guy that you loved coming out of high school, he's been in the program, he's been buying his time, showed up in a massive way at some big-time spots. Then you got another younger guy in Jordan Ross that was there. You mentioned Ethan Utley, who shouldn't have probably been playing, but we don't have some of these other guys. But so it's like a lot of young guys out there. Like I said, you got a true freshman who got picked on all day, and I thought he still continued to fight. With our linebackers, I mentioned it. Our linebackers are definitely more athletic than we've had. And they've got the foot speed. I mean, Arian was going sideline to sideline if he can just control himself and have his eyes in the right place, and when he gets there, make the play. But like Edwin's still a young pup. T-Lander is who T-Lander is, and we've mentioned that. We like T-Lander a lot, but I think I mentioned it last year, like I think he's maxed out. Like, he is who he is. He's going to make some good plays. He's going to play hard, but he's not necessarily an elite backer. And there were times, and I would love to hear what other people's opinions are, whether it's in the comments or where, as I continue talking about this game, continuing on, maybe not as much offensively. But I look at Georgia's defense and the size of their linebackers and their safeties and their corners, and they still look like some monsters, not maybe as much as they did when they had the Philadelphia Eagles defense, but they still look like some monsters. And I look at our defense compared to that offensive line and some of those receivers and tight ends and running backs, and I just feel like we're smaller. And so it's a kudos to this coaching staff to get out what they've gotten out of these guys to still be in position to win the game. But we are still, like, I am excited for when we get that high caliber 5-star linebacker that can go sideline to sideline. Edwin was a 4-star, Arian was a 4-star, and they're still younger, so they're going to develop. But when's the last time we had just a 6'1", 190-pound, 200-pound safety that was a menace back there? Or our corners are good, but they're not necessarily big. They're a little bit longer. But I just felt eye test wise that there were still some deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. And then if you are not having your eyes in the right spot and that physicality starts coming in, which is two things. One of the reasons I thought we were dead, and one of the reasons I'm super impressed, because they bowed up. But did you feel that too, watching the eye test and seeing the where we still got to have a ways to go in the recruiting and things of that nature?
Yeah, no, I felt it. I mean, like, the violence, the size advantage that, like, their DBs and nickels have versus our DBs and nickels, the linebackers they had out there, the D-line, I mean, the interior D-line was just, it was missing something trying to go against those big boys up front. So I'm with you. But like you said, step up by defense. So the first drive of the second half, defense gets shredded. 7 minutes off the clock. The first drive of the second half for our offense, they throw an interception. So it is literally looking as bad as it possibly can look. Georgia is winning 24-21 at that moment. And our defense steps up, forces a field goal. Offense goes out, scores a touchdown. Defense steps up again, forces a field goal. Offense goes out, scores a touchdown. And it is now 35-30. And defense comes in clutch, JJ strip sack. And it's like, holy shit, these guys turned it the fuck on. They did not give up at the lowest fucking point when all was going against them. They bowed up. They stood up and said, no, we're making a difference here. Defense said, we're forcing field goal, turnover. Offense said, we're going touchdown, field goal. And that's what you wanted out of this team. And then the last drive, they let them go down the field, Dakin and Duncan again as we went. Same kind of stuff that I saw from that one after the halftime. They convert on the fourth down, an opportunity to get them off the field. They convert on the 2-point conversion. You see Farouk and Hood just absolutely confused on who's supposed to stay out, who's supposed to go in. Didn't know what they were doing. Easy touchdown. Guy just does a little whip route. Nobody's around him. Easy score, I should say.
That's the play. That one frustrates me, and I think I was talking to you about this last night. That 2-point conversion play is the play that bothers me more than the fourth down, because that fourth down was a great football throwing catch. It was a great football play. It was a clutch performance. We didn't make them earn the 2-point conversion at all. I mean, that was like you and I in the front yard, just like, oh, here you go, like just at the tailgate, just throwing the pigskin. There was nothing.
Just go to the front pylon.
And that's what frustrates me, because it was like Mike Boba had a little wrinkle to it, but not really. I mean, if we're in man coverage, they show a little bit of some motion, quick snap, he bends back out. It just that can't happen. And that play is so big that if your guys are not lined up and ready, you got to burn a timeout right then and there, because that's the game.
That's the game.
Well, then the only chance they have is an onside kick. And so that one really irked me. That one really irked me because it was just so easy. Like, I'm sitting there in the stands like, okay, ideally I want a bad snap, but that's probably not going to happen. So I'm like, all I'm hoping to watch is Gunner to get this ball, look, and he doesn't have his first option, and then I'm going to feel really good about the rest of the play. No, that I didn't even have a chance to start getting excited because he snapped it, it was there, and that just can't happen. That cannot happen.
Yeah, it just can't happen. And then, I mean, my last point, the first play of overtime, I just saw, the same thing we mentioned. Like, Redmond, I saw him literally turn his back to an offensive lineman as a blocker. Turrentine not get in at the right angle. Edwin and T-Lander literally shooting the same gap on an outside zone and both getting eaten up in the gap to where they didn't get involved in the play. And I'm just like, guys, like, you're almost taking the opportunity away from yourself to make a play. And it was, easy, getting down to the 3-yard line for them. And it's 1st and goal at the 3. And they've been running the ball on us all day and leaning on us all day. And it almost felt inevitable that they were going to score. And they were able to put it in. And that's the difference.
Yeah, it did feel inevitable. And it was, I knew when we missed that field goal, and I just said, this is crazy to say, Kyler, but I feel like Georgia's got the advantage. I said, we're at home. I said, but the way they're playing, the way they're built, now that they do have a little bit of momentum, I said, they're just going to pound the rock right at us, get it in there. I was very nervous that this defense was going to be able to stand on their head and make a stop again, which they had, but they didn't do it, and I was worried about that. And when we didn't score that touchdown, I said, right then in the stands. I said, first down, we have to have a negative. We have to have a negative. What do? They literally just run up. I don't even know what is a stretch or a power just off the left side. And
stretch outside.
No one's there. And that was so disheartening. And, that was disheartening. There's just it's tough because there's some good plays that were made and they did give us a chance, but then it's just not where I guess I should say, like, I thought our defense would maybe be a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe I haven't come to a conclusion yet and figured it out, because every time
I thought they would. I mean, before the season started, I thought this is going to be a defensive team again, and we're not going to have the offense ready, and it's going to take a while to figure everything out, and we're going to have to lean on this defense. And that's just not what it is. It is not what it is.
Yeah, well, at least not. I mean, and listen, Georgia's. I mean, after 3 weeks in, they're a top 5 team. They're a top program, obviously. I mean,
we didn't change ranking. We're still number 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they're really good. We're not going to see anyone else like that the rest of the year unless Bama puts it together, and then maybe potentially Oklahoma. But I think Georgia's one of the best teams in the country easily, based on eye test 3 weeks in.
Agreed.
So it's like every time I want to get frustrated with some of these guys on defense, they still bowed up and made certain plays. But I did hear on Twitter that Georgia pulled out, like, I think it was like 5 or 6 run plays that they haven't shown all year, which is something that you said. They're gonna bring something and show something that you've not seen, which I'm assuming Heupel did too on offense. We showed them some stuff that they weren't necessarily used to in wrinkles, but I mean, kudos to them. They clutched up and made the plays, even with how good Mike Bobo was, even of all the kudos were given to Kirby and his defense. We were still right there, and we were, I'm going to say, 3 plays away from winning the game, either a kick, a clutch up on offense, or a stop on defense. And so it's like, listen, we talked about the coaching points and what needs to happen next. Vols versus UAB, just get right. Don't just go back to being vanilla.
Get some injuries right. Get some guys some rest.
Yeah. Beat the brakes off them.
Something you said, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with David Sanders. I'm like, you said it last week. Like, now I'm just kind of like worried. Like, this might be worse than what anybody's thinking. It's just been so long. Take care of business. Don't overdo this. Feel bad for UAB. They're going to get a little frustration put on them. But set yourself up for success for the following week, for more SEC play, for what's to come, and keep everybody healthy. Keep everybody healthy. Number one, most important, because I don't know if our defense especially can survive more injuries at this point.
Yeah. And I don't want it to sound like super negative, because as I started this podcast, there was games that I was way more frustrated with, and there were some plays that some guys really made. Like, we didn't even mention Colton Hood until we were talking about the 2-point conversion. I thought he had some good plays. I mean, like I said, I've already talked about Aris Farouk. There were still some good plays by the D linemen. I thought Mike Matthews came a little bit, or I think Mike Matthews came, I'm not going to say a long way, but he showed some stuff. I wanted that catch in overtime, but that he had a really nice contested catch over on the sideline with dude draped on his back. Like, there were guys that still grew up a little bit, and that needs to continue to happen, because as you look at this team, we got some old heads like Joey and Dominic Bailey and Bryson Eason, but then you got a lot of young pups too that are in different spots. So keep growing, long season. The only thing I know what this team's capable of now, and as you always say, when I see what you're capable of, I'm going to hold you that standard. And there's really only, I guess now, one game I'm like really worried about, and that's probably just Bama, because it's away at Bama, but that their team doesn't necessarily scare me. But then, like, for me, I know we think Oklahoma's got a good chance and Oklahoma's going to be really good, but, like, that's at home. That's at home. So, like, I'm still going into that thinking you should win that game. So, And then Florida, they're probably going to be a disaster, but it's like, I get it. It's in the swamp, so it's still a little iffy. But right now, you still have a lot to play for, in my opinion.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, we kind of picked the fact that we would lose this game, and season is very much still ahead of us. An SEC championship is still possible on the horizon, and a playoff definitely is. So
Yeah, the one thing about getting this win yesterday would have been an incredible feeling. We break the streak, we beat them, but you just set yourself up, and you're playing with house money because now we don't want to lose, but you got a chance to drop one that you maybe shouldn't have. Now it's tighten up. It's like it's like a playoff NFL now. It's like you don't really have a lot of chances, and now you kind of have to play the game of like who wins this, who wins that. But anyways, see you, brother. Great weekend. Talk to you soon.
All right. See you, bud. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download, follow us on all the listening platforms, follow us on social media. Descriptions all below. Thank you guys for being the best fans in the world. Stinks. We lost this game. There's a lot of stuff to learn from it. So we just got to keep moving forward. But I believe in this team. So, as always, go Vols.